Another Lives in the Game sees us joined by young Leeds United goalkeeper Harrison Mayle. He opens up on life in the academy, representing England and the future. Being in the academy, training most days a week, how much of a sacrifice is it for you and other footballers who make that journey every week?
It's hard, especially when you're young. You see a lot of players, like young players, who fall out the game because, as you know, like it's a big transition from primary school to secondary school. If another keeper came in at a young age, I wanted to be better, I wanted to be faster, I wanted to catch more balls, I wanted to save more shots. Like, that's always the way I've been. Like, I've just wanted to be the best I can be.
And then, just as things couldn't get any better, you then called up to the England squad, the under-16s.
So, at such a young age to get called up for England, it was unbelievable. Like, I can remember I was flying off the walls. Yeah, it was crazy. There's massive names now what have come along who I played with. So, for example, like Jadon Sancho, who's doing unbelievable now. Ryan Sessegnon, Callum Hudson-Odoi. To be playing with them at such a young age pushed me on massively. I only signed as a goalkeeper when I was under 12s. So I was in midfield till under 12s, and then I signed as a goalkeeper at Leeds. Freak of nature, keeper didn't turn up. Who wants to go in goal? And I was there.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to 24/7 Football for another Lives in the Game, where we speak to various people from around football and discuss their journey within football and also how they got to where they were and their future ambitions. So we speak with footballers, we speak with people in the media, we've even spoken with club directors, even e-gaming. On this episode, we're delighted to be joined by Harrison Mayle, who's a young goalkeeper from Leeds United. Harrison, thank you very much for joining us today, mate.
All right, so no worries.
I hope you've enjoyed lockdown. It's been a little bit of a break for footballers, hasn't it? Really?
Yeah, if you want to call it that.
Are you climbing up the walls? Have you been without football for this long?
No, I don't think I ever have. No, never.
So we're going to be talking today through Harrison's time at Leeds Academy. He came all the way through the ranks, I think, from when he was 8 years old. Also going to talk about his time in the England setup as well, because he represented England at under-16s level, and also what the future holds for Harrison as well. So Harrison, you actually, like I said, started at the academy at such a young age. Did you always know that you wanted to be a footballer, even when you were about 7 years old?
Yeah, always. That's always been on my mind. I got brought up with football. My old man, first thing he did was get me a pair of boots, a little football. From then, that's all it's been. All I wanted to do is play football.
So you signed for Leeds, and for people who don't know, Harrison, you're from Bridlington, which is quite far away from Leeds, and being in the academy, training most days a week, how much of a sacrifice is it for you and other footballers who make that journey every week, and also for your family as well, because they must have sacrificed a lot to get you there?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's hard, especially when you're young. You see a lot of players, like young players, who fall out the game because, as you know, like it's a big transition from primary school to secondary school, finding new friends and stuff like that. So you see a lot of players drop out at such a young age because they want to enjoy time with their mates. They want to do stuff what the mates are doing. But if you keep your head, if you have like tunnel vision, and you know from such a young age what you want to do, it's not even a choice to go out with your mates. Like, I'd rather be playing football than going, I don't know, from where I live, everyone used to go to the beach. I'd rather go play football at Leeds than I would rather go to the beach. There has been times where, I don't know, there's been something going on. I've wanted to go, but deep down, I know what I should be doing. But like on the parents' like point of view, like they sacrifice. If it weren't for my parents, I could never be where I am now. So I'm lucky to have parents what I've got.
So when you see there's other people who have dropped out, so you've physically seen like other people from in your academy setup they've just preferred to live their life on maybe live socially with their friends rather than fully commit to football. And do you get why they did that as well?
Yeah, I understand the points. So one guy who dropped out, I was like real good mates with, and I understood everything he was saying, like why he wanted to like drop out of football. But at the end of the day, I don't understand why you'd want to get like involved in football if you're not willing to sacrifice certain stuff. Obviously, we're still so young, so it's so hard for young people who can get the I don't know the minds moved to other things. But yeah, I understand some points, but then on the other hand, I know why I would not jump out of football.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you explain what it's actually like in the academy system, like progressing year on year? Like, there must be so much pressure on you from a young age to get to that next year, get to that next year. What is that actually like?
Yeah, it's difficult because even from a young age, everyone wants to still be better than each other. So, like you said, when I was 8, it was obviously more enjoy your football when you're younger, and every year you go up, it gets more and more competitive. So everyone's fighting. You see people who don't get another year, and you like personally, I was thinking like I don't want to be that next person, so I've got to do whatever I have to do to make sure I'm not them. But it's just like when you're younger, progressing through it from the younger ages, like it's more enjoyable. And then as you go up and then up to the 16s, that's when you start pushing to the 18s, and you see that's the next step into man's football, into real football. And it's a big step, but it's obviously it'll stick with me forever.
In terms of when you say obviously there was everyone's fighting each other for a place, do you feel that with everyone out? Because like you said, you have some good friends at
Yeah.
Leeds when you were coming through, but at the same time you were fighting them for a place as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's always got to be in your head that this could be the next person who takes my next contract, even from a young age. That might not be for everyone, but for me personally, like if another keeper came in at a young age, I wanted to be better. I wanted to be faster. I wanted to catch more balls. I wanted to save more shots. Like that's always the way I've been. Like I've just wanted to be the best I can be.
Have you encountered any other players as well where they've got a bit of an attitude problem, or the fact that they're in an academy has gone to their head? Because we see it a lot in life anyway, where people can let it go to them. I'm not going to ask you to name any names, but do you see that in the academy as well, where people they just get too big for themselves?
Yeah, no, definitely. You see a lot of players. Uh, there ain't as many as you probably think because, especially at a club like Leeds, it's very grounded. It's the coaches are really good. They keep you focused on football. They don't let anything go to your head. So yeah, you do see it. Um, but when you're at such a young age, you see a lot of players who let stuff go to their head. In a couple of years' time, they're not the ones who are getting talked about. But that might have just been because of the mentality from a young age who thought, all right, I've made it, I've made it. But at the end of the day, you've not made it.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. So in terms of Leeds, then massive club, good academy as well. Um, obviously, like you say, you were there from 8, but the club really seems to have got back on its feet. It's progressed. Did you see those changes as you were coming through as well? Because when obviously you were there, there was more of the League One times. The club was really struggling financially, and now they're looking like they're going to get promoted to the Premier League. And did that change also reflect in how the academy was as well?
Yeah, definitely. I remember being at the League One game when they got promoted. I'll never forget that. That was crazy. That was unbelievable. But from then onwards, the club's just grown. Honestly, to do like the facilities, the coaching staff, what's coming. Honestly, it's gone crazy. Of the last couple of years, from what it was to what it is now, it's a completely different club.
In terms of the academy, could you see a lot more, I don't know, money being pumped in to the academy as well? Did the facilities get better? And did you see really the caliber of player increase as well at Leeds?
Yeah, definitely. As you've probably seen if you follow Leeds, a lot of under 23s players are getting bought in now from all over the world. But you'd never hear of that like 2 years ago at Leeds. It was more homegrown players getting brought up, and there still is. Like, you can never take that away from Leeds. They bring some great players through. But now the extended, like the market, they're going further out around the world to bring players in. And the players they do bring in bring a completely different playing style. So you get to learn a lot about how football's played all over the world.
So you were progressing through Leeds. Like I said, you were coming through the ranks. You went from 8 years old up to 14, 15, and then just as things couldn't get any better, you then called up to the England squad, the under-16s. Obviously, I'll never know. Well, I could still get called up. I don't think I ever will. What is it like to be called up to the England under-16 setup? And what was it like to get called up, and then what was the experience actually like of representing England?
Yeah, so getting called up's a bit surreal. You never think about playing for your country ever. Like, obviously that's something you want, but it's not something you really think about. You think about your club and you think about, right, I want to be playing for Leeds. And then when you're older, you think about playing for your country. So at such a young age to get called up for England, it was unbelievable. Like, I can remember I was flying off the walls. Yeah, it was crazy. And then the experience being there was second to none. Just the facilities down at St George's Park, the coaching staff, everyone down there was great people. And like, there's massive names now what have come along who I played with. So, for example, like Jadon Sancho, who's doing unbelievable now, Ryan Sessegnon, Callum Hudson-Odoi. To be playing with them at such a young age pushed me on massively.
What are they actually like to be around then? Because, like you say, I think with Jadon Sancho, I think everybody knew exactly where he was going. Could you see that quality when you played with him as well?
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, putting myself against players like that only pushed me on more. Like, there was always good banter in the training sessions as well. So if he'd score a goal, he'd give me a little bit. Even from a young age, it's just banter. And then if I saved the shot, I'd give him a little bit. And the competition was just massive because it's not like a club. Like, you don't spend the full season there. You're only there for maybe 2-3 weeks. So when you see them for them 2-3 weeks, you just want to prove a point to them.
Could you tell as well that you'd gone up a level? So, like, you've been playing for Leeds, and then I think was it USA you played against?
Yeah,
Yeah. So, how could you tell that instantly you'd gone up a level and you were benefiting from it as well?
Yeah, 100%. When you play against other countries, so there must be a squad of about 22 they brought over. And obviously they're the best 22 players in America. So when you play against them, they're not a team to ever look past because they were just everyone, like, the quality's just lifted so much. Even playing with England, like, the quality of players there was just phenomenal. Like, it was crazy.
And then after you made your debut for England, is that as well when it was another tick for you, I suppose, playing for England? But is that when you sort of got a bit of recognition in terms of your hometown? Because Bridlington notoriously doesn't produce too many footballers, but you seem to be all over the papers when that happened. And was that a bit of a adjustment for you to you were now in the spotlight somewhat?
Yeah. No, definitely. It was nice. It was nice to just, I don't know, just get seen for what I've done. Because when I'm under 16s, I was doing it since I was 8 years old, and you're hid like no one knows what you're doing. And then when you do something great like that, it's nice to get a bit of recognition. It is.
And at that moment in time as well, from the outside looking in, because we all saw what you were doing and how your career was going, and it just seemed like it was going up and up and up. And then shortly after that, you suffered an injury. Firstly, what was the injury, and just how much did it really stifle your progress? Probably, maybe at the wrong time in your career as well.
So my injury was my quad tendon. That was like beaten to death. So that one in good shape, but you should never get it at around my age. It's just you should be getting it around 50, 60. So it was a bit of like a freak of a thing to be getting at my age. Yeah, it wasn't a great time for me personally to get injured because, as you were saying, I was progressing really well. I was obviously enjoying my football. And then when this happened, everything just stopped. There was some hard times, some real low times, because it's not as if you can go out on the pitch and just run about. You're in the same room, the same gym, doing the things for, like, you're in after all the lads have done training. Your hours you're doing are twice as long. But it's a really dark place to be, being injured for so long. But luckily I had another two lads who kept me going, and they had long-term injuries as well, so it was a good vibe in the gym. It was nice.
In terms of like you say, it's a dark place for any player, and it's probably, well, it's the first time you've experienced that as a player. Did you receive, do you think, enough support from the club in terms of how you were actually feeling? Is there a lot of emphasis placed on the mental side of football as well in the academy system?
Yeah, there's always someone you can talk to, but I'm not, like, personally, I'm not the type, the man who doesn't want to talk.
Yeah.
Like, I like to just keep quiet to myself, and it got to a point where I had to go home for 2 weeks, and just spend some time at home because I was in digs at the time, so I was living with another house parent, and I was just like in my room every day once I got home from footy, and it just wasn't a nice place. So I had to come home for a couple of weeks, just get myself together, and then went back and I was fine. I just cracked on with it again. But
In terms of your actual football growth, like you said, the injury probably came at the wrong time when you were progressing really well. Did those thoughts sort of go round in your head as well? So say you're injured, you're on the sidelines, and Leeds sign another goalkeeper, or the keeper does really well in a game, and did those thoughts creep into your mind as well?
yeah, obviously, because like I said, when I was younger, I always wanted to be the best. I always wanted to prove myself. But from being injured, I've learned so much what someone hasn't learned being injured that long. I've like so much about the game, so much about physically what you need to do to keep yourself away from being injured. I think obviously it was the worst timing to get it because I was progressing really well. But on the other hand, it's probably the best thing what's ever happened to me because it's taught me so much about football. Yeah.
So your contract hasn't been extended at Leeds. 12 years at the club. Did you expect it? And just ultimately, are you sad to leave Leeds as well after all that time?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's where I've lived for 12 years. Even living at home, I've spent more time there than I have at my own house. So yeah, definitely, it is sad to leave, but I always go by everything happens for a reason. So if this is meant to be, then hopefully I can progress somewhere else.
What is it like trying to negotiate a move in this current climate? You know, clubs don't know how much they've got to spend. Finances are in disarray. We don't even know when the season's going to end or when next season starts. So is that really thrown a spanner in the works as well?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, it is so hard. I speak to my agent pretty much every day, and I'm always, oh, have you got any further with anything? It's like they haven't got back to me yet, or it's taking a long time. Just be patient, and that's one thing I'm not patient. I just want everything done as fast as possible. But obviously, that's not what's going to happen, and that's not how football works. You have got to be patient, and I'm learning slowly, but I don't like it.
In terms of your next destination, then is there any challenges that you do want to go after, or is it just um, wherever can give you full-time men's football?
No, I would never settle for just anywhere. I want to always be pushing myself at the highest standard I can. I want to be pushing. Like, obviously, you never hear of a first team keeper at 19 years old. It's very unheard of. But for me personally, I want to be around the first team now. I want to be pushing first team and hopefully getting game time. But there's nowhere I'd ever write off, because if I'm playing football, I'm happy, and that's one thing I've learned over the years. If I'm playing football, I'm happy.
In terms of men's football, not really too much, but you did have a spell at Tadcaster, obviously last season. Do you feel like non-leagues took like not toughened you up, but give you a good grasp of what men's football is like, and are you ready ultimately to step into that environment?
Yeah, no, definitely. It was nothing that I didn't expect. I've spoke to a lot of people from Leeds, from other clubs, from people who've played in the past, and they've always given me good advice. It's it's obviously difficult from academy football to non-league football, because it's completely different style of play. But mentally, I felt like I knew what I needed to do. I knew everything what was going to happen. So yeah, I felt like I was. I planned it out well for myself to have the best game I can.
You actually you played quite well at Tadcaster as well. Good performances. Did you enjoy your time there?
Yeah, no, definitely great people, great people. I loved it being there. They were When I first got there, they were welcoming. Um, they'd do anything for me. I can not thank them enough for taking me along, and I love my time there.
So, for anyone who is watching, maybe a potential club, what type of keeper are you, Harrison? Because a lot of obviously being a City fan myself, it's all tick attacker, mate. So are you actually a ball playing keeper? Is that how you like to play?
Yeah, no, definitely. I only signed as a goalkeeper when I was under 12s. So I was in midfield till under 12s, and then I signed as a goalkeeper at Leeds. Freak of nature, keeper didn't turn up. Who wants to go in goal? And I was the one who stuck their hand up. So I gave it a go, and the rest is history.
So in terms of keepers in general, are there any keepers that you actually look up to that you think that's how you model yourself on?
Yeah, no, Edison, in this day and age, I think he is
He's crazy on the ball.
next level. The way he can strike a ball and hit someone on the chest without moving, you got to look up to him for that. And then back in the day, Reina for Liverpool, I used to just love watching him. Just his bravery, everything about him, because he was never the tallest like myself, but he could stop a shot if you hit him. And that, at the end of the day, that's what we have to do.
So not Loris Karius, no.
I cannot take anything away from him. He's higher than I am.
Listen, do you know what? When we talk about goalkeepers, goalkeeper union is actually a real thing, isn't it? Goalkeepers tend to stick together. Did you actually feel for Karius when that happened on the biggest stage to make a mistake like that?
Yeah, 100%. because if you hit another 10 balls at him like that, it'd have caught every one of them. If he throws it out, he could have thrown 10 balls out, and it'd have never happened again. It's just that one freak thing what's happened, and the rest he got slaughtered for. But
he did get slaughtered. Goalkeeping as well. One thing I should say, goalkeeping, everyone says the loneliest position on the football pitch when you make a mistake. Have you, I assume you have made mistakes. I don't know personally in terms of on the football pitch, but is it that lonely of a place when something like that happens? You just want the earth to swallow you up?
when I was younger, yeah. But as I've grown up, and like I said, I've spoke to many older keepers than me. As I've got older, it's natural. It's all right to make a mistake. The more you practice on it, the less of them what's going to happen. So if you can, I always say, if I'm doing a warm up, get them out there, then it's not going to go in the game.
That's a fair bit to live by. And goalkeepers have got to be mad as well. They have literally got to be mad. I know you say you started out as a midfielder and you just threw yourself in net, but did you actually want to be a goalkeeper after that, or did you just think, if they want me to play there, I'll play there, anything to stay at Leeds?
I always wanted to be a midfielder, but the more I played in goal, the more I started to love it. Just the fact of, I don't know, just when you're young, you're just jumping around in puddles, chucking yourself about. I loved it, and the more I did it, the more I fell in love with being a keeper.
So we've spoken through your time and your career so far. Obviously, you are looking for a club at the moment. What realistically do you want to achieve out of your career? Where do you think? I know it's hard in football because something can happen like that. We've seen that with Jamie Vardy, and your career can just skyrocket. But what do you want to achieve out of football? In football, sorry.
I think it's everyone's dream to play in the top leagues, the Premier League, La Liga, just a great league to play in. I'd like to just reach my highest potential. That's what I'd love to do. Whatever league that is, I just want to reach the highest I can go. I'd love to make history at some point with England. I don't know, making the most caps for England. I'd love that. I'd love to break every record there is, but as you know, it's not as easy as that.
And in terms of after your career as well, is that something that you ever give a thought to? I know that there's some people who fall out of football, or some people who are already planning for what they're going to do. So they're either doing their coaching badges, doing little side businesses as well. Have you given any thought as to? I know you're only a young lad, and it's a bit hard for me to ask you this, but have you actually given any thought to what you'd like to do after your career as well?
Yeah, no, definitely. I've done one of my coaching badges, but honestly, it's hard at this moment in time. I would definitely love to have my own goalkeeping school. That would be mint. I'd love that. I think I'd have to do something with football because, like I said earlier, if I don't have football, I'm not happy. So it's not much to do with that.
I think that's perfect. I don't think there's anything else you can say on top of that one. Harrison, thank you very much for coming on and chatting to us today. I'll leave a little link below to Harrison's agent as well, if anyone wants to go and check out stuff like that. But thank you everyone for watching this Lives in the Game. Hope you've all enjoyed it. So like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you again to Harrison for coming on. Can't wait to see what you do next. And thank you everyone for watching as well. We'll see you next time.